Ask a historian which of the world's two largest religions is older, and you will get a precise date. Ask a theologian, and the answer shifts. This discrepancy creates a tension between the documented timeline of the physical past and the deeply held spiritual reality of billions of people. To resolve this, we have to look through two separate lenses: the secular chronology of institutions and the theological framework of belief. Confusion arises when we try to use one of these frameworks to invalidate the other. Keeping them distinct is the only way to honestly analyze the evidence and the claims of both faiths. The secular timeline begins with the documented history of the Levant. On the far left of our chart, Judaism appears as the earliest recorded Abrahamic faith, with origin scholars date to the 6th century BCE. Moving forward to the 1st century CE, we find the emergence of Christianity, a movement centered entirely on the life and teachings of Jesus of Nazareth. The formal establishment of institutional Islam occurs in the 7th century, beginning with the revelations received by the Prophet Muhammad in 610 CE. This creates a measurable historical gap. By this standard, Christianity precedes Islam by approximately 600 years. This sequence is a matter of historical consensus, supported by archaeological evidence and contemporaneous secular records of earthly events. These faiths developed within the same geographic footprint, with their institutional histories literally layering over one another in cities like Jerusalem. If we measure age by the formal establishment of earthly institutions, the historical record identifies Christianity as the older religion. Looking through the theological lens reveals a different structure. Islamic doctrine is built on the concept of a primordial message, a single truth revealed continuously across human history. The word Islam translates to submission to the one God. In this context, the term describes a state of devotion that exists independently of the specific institutional structures that emerged in the 7th century. This original message of submission is believed to be identical to the one given to every prophet, beginning with the first human, Adam. This creates an unbroken theological chain that includes figures central to earlier traditions, such as Abraham, Moses, and Jesus. Scriptural evidence in the Quran identifies Abraham as a practitioner of this original monotheism, long before the 7th century revelations. Within this framework, Muhammad's role in 7th century Arabia was to call humanity back to that ancient, original devotion. Muslims recognize him as the final restorer in a long line of prophets, sent to correct deviations in previous traditions. According to the Quran, these final revelations represent the completion and perfection of a faith that has always existed. The monumental architecture built to honor this final revelation sits directly upon the sacred foundations associated with all earlier prophets. Theologically, Islam represents the final restoration of humanity's oldest, original faith. Chronological history and theological self-understanding provide two different types of information. Both are necessary to understand the world these religions created. Intellectual honesty requires keeping these tracks parallel. Erasing history with theology or dismissing belief with a timeline misses the complexity. Historically, Christianity is institutionalized roughly 600 years before Islam. Theologically, Islam claims the title of the original, enduring message. An accurate understanding of religious history means holding both of these truths at once. True inquiry allows us to analyze facts and respect faith, without forcing a choice between the two. For more deep dives into the history and mechanics of religion, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.